This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
I'll tell you, Tom, my ear hurts.
Yeah, well, we saw each other earlier this week. No spoilers here, but we went to Bubblegum Shrimp Company restaurant in Times Square for our Patreon listeners.
Yes.
And you seemed kind of sick then, but you said you were on the mend.
I've been sick for a month, Tom. So comparatively, even now, I'm better than I was at most points over the past month.
So you had or have an ear infection?
Yeah, Tom. Guess what? I go to the doctor.
Now you're not going to try and pin it on all those wet willies I gave you Monday night, are you? That had nothing to do with it.
Tom, I asked you in March of 2020 to stop with the wet willies, and you only increased the frequency.
Well, that's what happens, Tim. That's the bully's credo.
So you admit it.
Once I get the reaction, especially I was giving them to you in the restaurant, you're like, you're going too deep. It hurts. That just makes it funnier.
Yeah. People love hearing that being screamed at a chain restaurant in Times Square.
You put your finger in the cocktail sauce before you did it. That's no fair.
I went to the doctor in the morning because my ear really hurt. And I think they were just
Doctor, give me the news.
What's with the pain in my ear?
Yeah, that's not the way the song goes.
No, it is the way. Hey, Tom, that's the way the song went Wednesday morning. I'll tell you that much. The doctor came in, and I think, I told you I had an ear infection. What did you say, Tom?
Were you a toddler?
Yeah, because I thought only babies got ear infections.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I had an ear infection. I was a kid.
Me neither. Yeah, I think I was a baby. And so I think the doctor was like, what is this guy? Some kind of freaking baby?
What is this guy? Some kind of huge baby?
This guy, some sort of whiny, sickening baby. So she looked in my left ear, which was not bothering me, and she's like, that looks fine. And I was like, yeah, well, it's my right ear.
Well, yeah, I got two of them, Doc.
What kind of doctor are you?
Medical school?
Sheesh. She goes around to the right ear, and she goes, oh, that looks different. And then she said, excuse me a moment. And she
threw up.
She went out into the hallway. She closed the door. And I heard a lot of murmuring for 3 full minutes. It's just like, and finally I hear and this other doctor comes in. Mm-hmm. She throws open the door. She's like, hey, you mind if I take a look at your ears real quick? And I was like, okay. Please. The other lady, I think she didn't understand. Whatever.
I think she went home.
So she looked in my left ear, and she's like, "Okay, that looks normal." Like,
she fell for the same routine.
Yeah. I guess they teach you to start with the left ear, no matter what, in medical school, left to right.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You read left to right. They probably teach you to check ears that way too.
She checked my other ear and she went, okay, thanks. And then she went out there and closed the door, and then there was more murmuring in the hall. Tom, this is what a brave boy I am. And I think it did not go unnoticed how brave of a boy I was. Both doctors then came in, and they were both it seemed like one of them was waiting to speak up. Waiting for the other one to speak up, and then finally one of them gathered the courage to talk to the bravest boy they've ever seen and said, hey, are you in a lot of pain right now? And I was like, it's, I came to the doctor, I'm in some pain. And they're like, it's insane inside your right ear. They're giving me massive doses of 2 different types of antibiotics. And I was the way they were talking about it I was like, will I ever hear again? It was I was getting a horrible test. And I asked, is this do I need to do something
give it to me straight, Doc? Am I going to be able to keep this ear?
It was so dire. And then they're like, no, just take the antibiotics. I was some kind of idiot. So I still left there being pissed off at them. But hey, they gave me the good stuff. They gave me the good stuff, baby. Amoxicillin.
It also sounds like
the
the type
pill
of
that I could barely swallow.
It also sounds like, well, who's the bravest baby now? Do you have this in a syrup that I could take?
Tom, you have no idea how big this pill is. It's bigger than your head.
No, that is impossible, Tim. I wonder if there was any kind of it kind of sounds like if you hadn't gone to the doctor when you did, there might have been like serious problems.
Yeah.
Because that kind of stuff doesn't really like go away on its own, I think.
No, I don't think so.
It would have just spread to your brain.
Yeah. And then I would have had a sore brain all week, Tom. How are you doing this week?
Tim, I'm doing good. I had a positive experience recently with teenagers.
Ooh.
There was 4 teenagers that were trying to steal packages from my lobby.
Oh, did you look cool in front of them?
I think so. I had my dog in a little pink sweater at the time. No, there were these like 4. They were like young teenagers. I would say so young that some of them I don't even think were teenagers.
Oh.
I would guess that there were 4 kids.
Preteens or tweens?
Yeah, I would guess that they were between like 11 and 14 years old.
Okay.
And
bunch of dang hooligans out there stealing packages at Christmas time.
Exactly. Well, and that's, I mean, that's the thing. It's easy picking right now.
Yeah.
And, school had just gotten out. They had their backpacks on. And I was coming out of my door, the front door to my building. And like, as soon as I walked out, like one of the kids like ran past me to like grab the door, but he missed. He didn't get it in time. But I was kind of like, the other 3 like quickly followed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's weird. Why are like 4 teenagers running to get in the lobby? It's like, I'm
probably to
looking at
swarm you. Do you know about swarming?
No. What's swarming, Tim?
It's
they
not
ran
funny.
past me.
It's not funny. Teens will approach an adult, swarm that adult, and that adult doesn't leave with his life.
Wow. All right. Well, they weren't doing that to me, thankfully.
Yeah.
They were just trying to steal from me and other people that live in my building.
Yeah, I saw a report of a swarming somewhere. I think it was Toronto. It was a real sad story, but
I saw that too.
I expect to hear a lot of questions at Christmas on Long Island from relatives wondering if I'm concerned about all the swarming going on in New York and if I feel safe on the streets.
Do you tell them that? It's too cold right now for bees. I'm not worried about swarms at all. No, but I'm like kind of looking at these kids because they're, my building, there's like a lobby, but to get into the lobby, I feel like most apartment buildings in New York, there's 2 doors. The front door you can open, that just gets you into a tiny vestibule where you can hit a buzzer.
Mm-hmm. We've all seen Seinfeld.
Yeah, but
it's where George buzzes Jerry.
There's, these 4, it was like, they were college kids in the 1920s stuffed into a phone booth. These 4 teenagers stuffed into this thing. So I'm like kind of looking at them, waiting for them to like come back out. And somebody walking by sees all this and goes like, yeah, those kids just stole a bunch of packages from the building around the corner. I saw them. So I'm like, oh, damn it. Now I'm cursed with knowledge,
Yeah. Well, I mean, all right. What are your options here?
Well, I mean, my primary option is I don't have a package in the lobby right now. Right. Why do I care?
It's the Tom Reynolds way. Yeah.
No, that's the typical New Yorker way. But I didn't. And the thing is, the packages were all around the corner. Like everybody does a pretty good job moving the packages out of like plain sight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
so
the teens are wise to that trick,
Oh
Tom.
yeah, but it makes it like a little less tempting because it's like, all right, I'm gonna like wait to get in this building, and there may or may not be packages around there,
Right.
or I could just like go to the next building where I can see there are packages.
Right.
It's all about deterrence, Tim. If somebody really wants to get in, they're gonna do it. But anyway,
Tom, if a teen heard you saying this right now, you know what they'd say?
What?
They'd be like, this guy's mid.
No way, Tim. They'd say this guy's based. So anyway, so now I'm like, now I have to do something. I'm like waiting a little bit longer, and they're not leaving. So I go back to the vestibule and open up the door. I go, guys, I know what you're doing. And they're like, what? No, we're not doing anything. And I'm like, well, that tells me you are doing something. Because you got very defensive. And they're like, no. And I'm like, you're trying to steal packages. Don't do that.
Which is cool.
Look, I would do it, but no. And then I like lied. Well, I didn't lie. There are cameras in the lobby, but I don't know. They're old and nothing ever happens with that footage or whatever. So I was like, there are cameras in there. Like, don't do that. And, so I like walked away, and then they like still wouldn't leave. So then I went back and I was like, guys, come on. Like, you got caught. You can't do it. Just go somewhere else. And then they did. I think they really respected me though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One of them called me a slur on his way past me. But aside from that, I think they really respected me.
Okay. You just characterized that at the beginning as a positive experience with teens.
You know what? I was glad that I like I
stood up and acted like an adult instead of just cowering away.
Well, here,
yes.
yes.
I didn't see any teens.
Part of it is that I'm glad that I stood up and acted like an adult, but I'm also glad that I didn't turn into like some kind of Karen or whatever. Like, right. I didn't lose my mind at them. I didn't tell them like I was going to call the police and press charges and they'll be sorry.
Yeah, well, they would have swarmed you if that happened.
Well, yeah, I wasn't looking to get swarmed.
Yeah, swarmed for sure.
But I was glad that I like kept my cool, and I was like just come on, get out of here.
Right.
Like I said, and I wanted to say to them, and I should have, like, also, guys, like, you gotta be better at doing this. Don't the four of you do it together? Like,
yeah, you should have given them pointers on how to steal.
I should have taken them under my wing.
Yeah, you would have been like, hey, do you guys want to know, like, these package thefts are one thing, but have you ever pulled off a heist? Then you can, try to convince them that you're the leader of some sort of international heist criminal ring.
How would you boys feel if I asked you if you'd be interested in joining a thieves guild?
Can one of you contort yourself and get into like a real small box for a while?
Well, I told you, at least two of these kids, they were pretty small. I think they would have been perfect for like, cramming them into like tight areas to, unlock a door from inside or something.
Yeah, it's always a good thing just to know some tweens that are willing to contort themselves and put themselves in a small box to help you with crimes.
Yeah, I mean, and they've got those.
If you don't have some of those by the time you're 40, you got to reevaluate your life.
They've got those young bones that haven't hardened yet. So,
that's not true. A 13-year-old does not have bendable bones.
They can really get in there. If I sit on the couch for too long and I get up, I'm like, ugh. But these, they could probably sit in a box all day.
Yeah.
And pop out like a Jack in the Box as soon as you open the top, which presumably would not be until he was already safely locked inside the vault.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have that worked out to the minute.
Yeah, that's my job.
You'd have to buy all these boys' watches, Tom, so you can synchronize them.
I'd be happy to. I mean, I'd probably tell them, like, before I splash out all this money, why don't we check the lobbies nearby, see if anybody's getting a watch for Christmas. Tim, well, this episode will be coming out on Christmas Day.
We are the only show that doesn't take any time off for the holidays. And it's so massively inconvenient. And
yeah.
I don't know that people listen to podcasts over the holiday. They're doing family things.
Yeah, that's why a lot of podcasts they don't put out an episode, or because I've been realizing that recently. Like, this week, whenever I've been doing the dishes and stuff, it's like, God, there's nobody's putting out new eps.
Yeah, or it's just old crap that I've heard before. We should be putting out old crap that people have heard before.
Yeah, instead we're spending all the time putting out new crap.
Yeah.
Waste of everybody's time. But it is coming out on Christmas. Maybe we should release this episode early so people can listen to it while they're opening presents.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to do. I think a lot of people probably saved last week's episode to do that, because I know people really like to do that with their families. Put it over the old.
Now they can do it for a couple of hours, which will be nice.
Yeah. We're a wonderful soundtrack to a lot of different activities that you can do with your family or friends.
We should put up they have those Yule log videos.
Love them.
And they're like 8 hours long. We should just put one up with all the Christmas episodes instead of like a crackling fire, and people can just sit back on Christmas Day with their family and just listen to us, not even talk to each other.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk to each other. The families won't talk to each other. They'll bust a gut laughing and maybe bust a brain learning.
Yeah. But this week, even though this episode's coming out on Christmas Day, we're talking about what's going to be happening next weekend.
Yeah. Because
New Year's,
we got to get ahead of things, Tom. We're not reactive. We're proactive on this show.
Exactly. That's why we don't realize when the holidays are coming up and we should take some time off and not do episodes.
Man, the story of our lives is like not freaking looking at a calendar more than 3 days out from anything.
Yep. It's helped us a lot in life, and I'm sure hurt us in more than equal measure.
All these other shows have producers too. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah. We should get one of those that works for free.
For free.
Or even better, pays us to do it.
Hey, it's great experience. It's great exposure.
Yeah.
Send your resumes, the complete guide to everything at gmail.com. We have reasonable rates to be paid.
Right, yeah. Look, we're not going to bankrupt you.
Yeah, we're not here to shake you down. We just need a little scratch.
We've
some walking around money.
We've got a team of young teens pulling off heists that we can rely on for our
that's our main source of income. Yeah.
Right. This is more of a hobby.
No, this is the other thing, Tom. You come out with an episode with a Christmas topic on Christmas Day. I don't know about you, but by like 8 p.m. on Christmas, I'm freaking done with Christmas. I don't want to think about anything Christmas related. Like I'm gonna be out, spending time with my family. I got a little 1-year-old child, and my mom's like, "Oh, maybe Monday or Tuesday we can go around and see Christmas lights." It's like, no, Christmas is Sunday. Christmas is over. I'm not gonna do Christmas things after Christmas.
Yeah,
ridiculous. It's a ridiculous notion.
I mean, it sounds like it was probably like more intended for your child than for you, but
yeah, but my child has all the same beliefs as I do. I'm sure of it.
He can't put together a sentence yet, but yeah, he thinks the same thing. He knows the calendar. I know that my niece has she's trying to use not knowing the day to her advantage in trying to trick other people to let her open up more advent calendar things. You know, where she's like, oh, no, I think it's this day. I think this day, 2/3, that's the day today.
And does she just think that everybody is as confused about the calendar as she is?
I think so. I think she's like, look, the calendar is more like a feeling.
Yeah. I mean, as far as she knows, that's probably the case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of how I grew up and, live my life even to this day.
Tom, it's what we were just talking about. It's kind of the way that we plan this freaking thing out. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tim. I may not know what's going on next week, but December 1st, I opened up every little door on my advent calendar and ate all that chocolate. So who's the idiot now?
Tom, there's one date that is not in dispute, though. No matter who's asking, it's 1/1, a fresh start, New Year's Day. And what do you do to prepare for that fresh start? The night before, you go out and you get rip-roaring hammered and ensure that you start the nice new fresh year off feeling like absolute shit.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. New Year's Eve parties.
You wake up the next day, who put this lampshade on my head?
Why are my car keys in the fish tank?
Who put my hand in a bowl of warm water?
Your girlfriend does that to you, doesn't she?
No way, because she would have to.
On a normal night.
She would have to deal with the consequences. Somebody pissed the bed. I don't know who. Tim, when's the last time you've been to a New Year's Eve party? As you alluded to earlier, you have a 1-year-old. This time last year, they were even younger than 1 year old.
Yeah, it's a couple months old. What I did for New Year's last year, Tom, was sat on a couch with my brother while everybody else was asleep, chatting about things while Back to the Future 3 was on. The worst one.
Oh, so the traditional way.
Yeah, and then I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, it's 12:07. Happy New Year, and I went to bed.
I like how you always mention Back to the Future 3, the worst one, like I made it or something.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you had to plan things, like, if you're watching 1 or 2, it's at least, I rang in the new year watching a real compelling movie. Back to the Future 3, it's just like, I watched Michael J. Fox, kind of like, I watched a movie that implies that, like, there's, like, this incestuous relationship between his mom and dad's families going back generations, right? Like, his great-great-grandfather looks like him, and his great-great-grandmother looks like his mom.
Yeah.
So maybe that was another time travel thing where, like, the great-great-grandfather was him from another time period or something going back. Almost could have been fornicating with his mom in a different time.
Well, they didn't want to make any more Back to the Future movies after that, so we'll never know unless they answer that in the cartoon series.
Yeah, we'll have to get our hands on that.
Which I think is maybe considered canon. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, who cares, right?
Well, I'm just saying, hey, Christopher Lloyd in it.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I guess that's
who cares?
Yeah. Well, canon's always a weird thing because, like, and that's what caused so many problems with Star Wars, I think, for a while, because it's like, if you make some movies, you make a trilogy, and then they're like, we're going to make a bunch of spin-off content. If you're like, yeah, whatever, we're not going to make any more movies, do whatever the hell you want, then it doesn't really matter what canon is.
Right.
But then when it's like, oh, actually, we want to make, we sold all this IP to Disney and we want to make more of these. And it's like, All right. Well, I guess you're going to have to take those like 600 novels and just say they don't count anymore.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing about all this is they're just made up stories, so who cares?
You want them to be consistent. You want your made up stories to be consistent.
Yeah, but if it's not worth getting angry about. If you're upset about the inconsistencies, then go find another made up story to distract yourself from responsibility until you eventually die.
Is this what you tell your wife when you lie to her, Tim? Look, I made it. Yeah, whatever. Get a life.
I didn't lie to anybody. I just thought Back to the Future was bad. Anyway.
So that was your last New Year's Eve.
Yeah. I think probably I was at a party in 2019.
Okay.
Who knows? What about you? What was the last New Year's party you went to?
I think it was probably the same. We have two friends of the show, Pollux and Aaron Lee, who have had
fun parties.
Yeah, a lot of good New Year's Eve parties in recent years. So that's kind of made it easy because it's like, one of like my very good friends is having a party at their apartment, which is in the same borough I live in. Great. So I can take the subway home. I don't have to like worry about or even walk home if worse comes to worse. I don't have to, pay for like $150 Uber home.
Right. I my tip is always just take the subway home.
Yeah.
Just take the subway home. I think
that's for New Year's Eve. I think that I don't think I've ever like taken a cab home because it's too hard to get a cab, let alone pay for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Tom, you're always the cab driver's like, hey, you owe me money, and then you pull your pockets inside out and show them there's just a mop in here.
Yeah. Well, and Back to the Future too, Tim. In the future, 2015, that was the style to wear your pockets inside out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Did you try to pull that shit on
I was
New
telling
Year's Eve
that
2014?
I was telling that to a cab driver, and he punched me right in the face.
Tom, so in recent years, I feel like as we've all gotten older, like in previous years when we were young, we would go out and party at like a bar or something, right?
Yeah, because like nobody was like, or not nobody, but I think people were like infrequently like wanting to have a party. I think just because it's like, I don't know, when we were young, it's like you're asking for trouble having a New Year's party.
Also, it's like, no, let's go somewhere. We'll like pay a lot of money and it'll be an open bar and like I don't have to worry about anything. Like it's like, you want to be out. You want to see other people, even though like we never interacted with other people that weren't in our group.
Right.
But then we moved towards, all right, we're getting more mature. We're going to go to someone's house. And I had a party one year. I don't know that you went to it. It was when I lived in Williamsburg.
I get invited to a lot of parties.
Yeah. It's undeniably true, Tom. But here's the question I have. New Year's Eve. What? All right, the main event is midnight.
Did you have a party while we were roommates and I wasn't there?
Maybe. I don't know. No, you were long gone. Tom, I kicked you to the curb long before this. The main event is midnight. Ryan Seacrest rings in the new year in Times Square. What time do you have people come to your home, and what time, like, how do you kick people out and when? Right? I've never been clear on the, like, my thing when we had this one party, I was like, hey, I got New Year's Eve off. Come over at 11 a.m. Come watch The Price is Right with me. I don't give a shit. Like, we'll have booze. Let's have all day. But is it like 10 o'clock? Is that too late for people to?
I think if you're doing it at 10 o'clock, then you've got to be ready to have people at your house pretty late. You know? Like nobody's going to come to a party thinking like, all right, 2 hours in and out. I mean, some people will, but like there are going to be some
You
people
don't go
that are
home
going to
at
be expecting a little
12:01.
bit more. No, well, you asked when people would go home.
Yeah.
I've been to New Year's parties where I think at like where they have maybe started a little bit earlier, and by like 12:30 I've been like, all right, well, boy, look at the time. But that's been when, like I said, they've started earlier, and I've been drinking for a while by then. So maybe I'm at the point where it's like, if I have one more drink, that's going to be more trouble than it's worth. And I'm not just gonna like stay at your house until 2 a.m, not drinking booze. So I guess I'll get out of here.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it's also a little bit like as you get older, and if you're at somebody's house, it's kind of like the Christmas thing. Like after midnight, it's just kind of like, all right, we still doing this? We gotta wrap this thing up. It's a new year. Let's get this show on the road here.
Right. Well, because when you're going out to like bars and stuff, you're looking to have a meet cute, maybe.
Yeah. I had a meet cute at every bar I ever stepped into. I met a glass of whiskey, Tom, and we fell in love. All right, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Question. If you're hosting a New Year's Eve party, which I don't think you've ever done, have you ever had a
No,
party?
I've never. I think I had a party like a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, no, when we first got our apartment.
Yeah, we had a party. You slept through the whole thing.
Yeah, we had a housewarming party. There were 4 roommates, and we had like people, like we all invited people.
Yeah,
I was really
I think
tired.
I had the most people, though. I was very popular.
I think it was all work friends. So take what you will from that.
Yeah, and I was probably a manager by then, so I probably told them, look, if you want a job on Monday, you better come to my party.
Yeah, I just remember being like really tired. It was like a Friday night, right?
Yeah, I think it was a Friday.
I think I was like, I'm going to take a quick nap at like 7 o'clock. Like people weren't coming till late or whatever. And then I just remember like periodically people coming into my room and like shaking me awake and being like, hey man, you got to come join the party? And I was just like, yeah, just give me like 5 minutes. And like, and then suddenly it was like 3 a.m. and like the last of everybody was leaving. And of course, then I woke up completely refreshed and incredibly depressed.
Yeah. And the last like 3 people were leaving and you blocked the door.
He
said,
like,
no, the party's not over yet.
Yeah, and I started.
It's just getting started.
I'm coming up, so you better get the party started.
And they were all like friends of friends. They didn't really know any of us.
Yeah, no. Anyway, New Year's Eve party. Do you have to buy freaking champagne? Does anybody like a champagne toast? Can we stop doing that? Can that be a thing that millennials kill or Gen Z kill, or millennials like you or Gen Zers like me kill?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't mind I had a family, like extended family Christmas party this past weekend. And my aunt and uncle.
Sounds boring, Tom.
It was a lot of fun, Tim.
Yeah, right.
My aunt and uncle popped champagne to celebrate my engagement.
Oh.
So that was nice. But I'll tell you what was nice about it. It was like a little bit of champagne there were a lot of people, and I think only like 1 or 2 bottles of champagne.
Right.
So it was like just a little bit of champagne for everyone. And that's what you want.
Yeah.
You want like 1 gulp's worth of champagne.
Yeah. And to match like the sentiment, they were a little bit happy for you.
Right.
So it's like, we'll celebrate with we're kind of happy for Tom. I don't really want him to be happy. So like his happiness kind of
everybody can have a little
Yeah.
watered down champagne.
Yeah. I feel like on New Year's Eve, we're talking like it's a given that everybody's drinking heavily. And I think that is most of the guy, but I don't want to leave anybody out. If you're not drinking heavily on New Year's Eve, you're probably having a better time. Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna wake up on the first feeling fine.
But like, if I've had a bunch of drinks, like beers or like mixed drinks, the last thing I want is like a little flu of champagne.
Yeah, how about some very bubbly, very sweet liquor to mix in there? Yeah.
And also another rule at my parties, no kissing. Don't kiss.
No kissing?
Yeah. A bunch of people kissing in my home.
I think I've been to your apartment for a New Year's Eve party.
What's that?
I think I've been to your apartment for a New Year's Eve party.
Did I get out the meter stick and anytime anybody got too close to kissing,
that's why I'm remembering
put it between you
now.
guys? Yeah. Exactly. No, it's just
like it was funny the first time.
Some sort of 8th grade makeout party. That's not what I'm trying to host.
Yeah. Well,
you
Tim,
host a lot of those currently at your apartment, right? 8th grade makeout parties. You just want the kids
just to stop them from stealing the packages.
Exactly. Give them a safe place to go. Give them something to do.
Yeah. I mean, to be clear, I'm not involved in this at all. I'm in the other room.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just providing a closet for 7 minutes in heaven.
Yeah. A safe space.
Yeah. I was reading what website was this? Oh, I was looking at like websites. I had Googled like, New Year's Eve party ideas or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like two of the top suggestions.
We should probably hire a researcher for the show too while we're at it.
That's the producer's job.
Yeah.
Boy, Tim, and if we've got a researcher paying us too.
I know, Tom. We're going to be rolling it in.
Really turn a profit on this thing.
Maybe we should hire an editor too.
So I was Googling for ideas, and like have you heard people talk about how like Google's not good anymore, like Google's getting worse?
No, I mean, you and I don't travel in the same circles anymore.
I usually don't use good. I use DuckDuckGo, which isn't any better, but
I think it's good.
But anyway,
I get what I need from it.
It's fine. It's good when you know what you're looking for. Yeah. But I think all these websites now, if you're like, hey, give me like New Year's Eve ideas, you're just going to get whatever website has done like the best search engine optimization to get that. So the top two results were from Parade Magazine and Reader's Digest.
What the hell? What's wrong with that, Tom? Two stalwarts of the publishing world.
Tim, I want like a Vice or some sleazy organization telling me about New Year's Eve parties, not stuff my grandparents would have read.
Tom, guess what? It's all the same stuff, just gussied up in different buzzwords, Tom.
Yeah. Well, I like some of the new buzzwords, Tim. When you called me mid before, I kind of liked it.
I know, I could tell. It's kind of gross. I didn't like the look on your face.
But I think it was Reader's Digest. They had like too many question and answer things. And one of the questions was, how long should a New Year's kiss last? And it gave like a long answer that ended with, but in general, here's a good guideline. A kiss should last for as long or as short as is enjoyable for both parties and appropriate for both the relationship and the setting.
Yeah, I mean, that of course.
Yeah.
But like, give me 8 seconds. Just give me, just throw out a number, readers. Take a stand, Reader's Digest. That's all I want.
Yeah, and like, or like
they're the ones who are supposed to get right to the point too.
Yeah, and I think it should be like, I would say this, Tim. It should be. I would even give it should be 2 seconds shorter than is enjoyable for both parties. You keep them wanting more.
Yeah.
You keep them coming back.
So you lure them back to your pad.
Yeah, you don't want to kiss them to the point where they go, all right, it stopped being enjoyable for both parties. Enough is enough. This is no longer appropriate for the relationship and the setting.
Tom, at a party,
Mm-hmm.
do you like the New Year's kiss? Do you like participating in it? It's my contention.
Well, okay, go ahead.
That only bad people do.
I'll tell you this. I don't love it, but it's better than not participating in it.
I disagree.
Why do you disagree?
Because I feel like everybody's watching me smooch.
No, nobody's
critiquing old Timbo smooching style.
Everybody's like, whoa, way too much tongue. His tongue was out of his mouth before he was a foot away.
Yeah, well, you and your fiance are known for your overzealous PDA.
Well, ever since we went to France, Tim, and we learned all about this kissing style they have there.
I don't know if you guys do it right. You guys, both your faces are always slick with saliva when you're done.
Yeah, but we've got the berets on, so I don't understand what we could be doing wrong, Tim.
You each have a baguette jutting out of the bags you're holding.
Yeah. Take some nibbles of the baguette in between.
Yeah, that's part of the worst. I think that might be up there with the worst.
And then
part.
I'll say in a French accent, "My baguette is soaked with saliva." I don't know what that last part of the accent was. That's not saliva.
There you go. Yeah,
but I've been at plenty of New Year's parties where I'm, like the only one not having a New Year's kiss.
I feel like you're rarely the only one not having a New Year's. Like, if you're the only person not coupled up,
well,
you're at the wrong
worse.
party. Then you chose the wrong party to go to, Tom. That's on you.
Because then if there are other people, then it's the like, oh, I guess, should we make out? Should we kiss? You don't want that.
Live in a sitcom? Do you view your life as an episode of The Single Guy? Do you think you're Jonathan Silverman?
I do remember, though, it was being at a New Year's thing. I've definitely told you this before, but I probably said it on the podcast, like either during or right after college, where an attractive girl came up to me and was like, "Hey, like, do you have anyone to kiss for New Year's Eve?" And I was like, no. I was like, oh, great. This girl's going to say, hey, how about me? But she was like, well, my friend doesn't either. And I was like,
she knew what she was doing.
I was like, that wasn't what I was hoping for, but like, all right. Yeah, that's still pretty good. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then that girl made out with a different guy.
Wait, which one? The one.
Both of them. Neither of them made out with me.
So you were like, all right, I'll lower my standards for this one. Like, at least I'll have
like, all right, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers, sure.
Well, did you say beggars can't be choosers within earshot of that other girl?
No, I mean, if anything, I was way too overzealous. I was probably like, yes, 1,000 times yes.
Right.
Where is she? And I was spraying Banaka in my mouth as I asked.
Yeah, so you do see yourself as Jonathan Silverman in an episode of the Single Guy.
Nah, he wasn't that slapstick. Yeah. He wasn't as slapstick as I am, I like to think.
You really take pride in your slapstick behavior.
Yeah, I mean, no women liked it. None of them were like, it's a. You know what? I would like to kiss that guy at midnight who's sitting in the corner just spraying Banaka in his mouth over and over. But that was, I think, like the only as close as I ever got to kissing a stranger on New Year's Eve.
Right. Well, I'm sorry it didn't work out for you.
It was fine. It was just, I was mad because like she was kissing a friend of mine and that friend was gay. And I was just kind of like, it's lost on him.
Yeah.
Should have been me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he probably still he's still like, that was fun. He wasn't like grossed out by it, but still, I would have appreciated more, I think.
Here's a party tip for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel, as Tom does, when you don't have somebody to kiss at midnight, that you're the only one,
You
you
kiss
feel
your
weird
hand
about
or
it.
a pillow.
You can do that. That's more for practice, in case one of those last-ditch efforts come true.
Well, practice makes perfect, Tim. You want to be ready when the opportunity comes.
If you've been partaking in a lot of appetizers, there's probably not going to be anybody monitoring the bathroom if you really got to take a dump.
Well, that is a good practical tip, Tim.
And also, this is why it would be helpful if freaking Reader's Digest would just give a time. It could be like, all right, I get in there at 11:58,
Right.
and then I know, okay, it's 35 seconds. I got till 12:30 and 12 o'clock and 35 seconds.
Now you're talking about timing your poop plopping into the toilet with the ball dropping.
I mean, that would probably be what it is. But
it's a happy accident if that happens.
Exactly. That's the dream, Tom. That's what we're all striving for.
I mean, that's a pretty good look. If you've got nowhere to go this New Year's Eve, you could do a hell of a lot worse than trying to pull that off.
You time it with the ball drop.
Tim, I was also looking at when I was Googling for things, there was this website, thebash.com.
Ooh, sounds like
and
fun.
I was like, oh, all right. That sounds a little more my speed than Reader's Digest and Parade Magazine. But then I realized that this website's just like, you can just hire like party related vendors, I guess, and services.
Is this a strippers thing?
No, because I realized I read a few articles on there, and every New Year's Eve party, they recommended that you should hire a caricaturist to draw caricatures of people at the party.
Huh. I think I would hate that at a party.
Right? If you weren't consenting to a caricature and somebody... you're at a party.
Wait, it wouldn't be like a face painting booth where you have to actively go up there and request a caricature?
I mean, I guess it would probably be up to the host what they want to do.
You think it's just some creep sitting in the corner doing mean-spirited caricatures?
You are single. Maybe you've met somebody else there who's single. You're hitting it off. Then all of a sudden some creep taps you on the shoulder. And he's like, oh, I drew this picture of you with buck teeth and, cross-eyed and... pimples all over your face.
Pants. Yeah.
Poop in your pants. Timed with the ball dropping. I don't know if you can tell there's a little TV in the corner. You can see the ball dropping. and you've got a thought bubble saying, I finally did it.
I mean, at least it's nice that you're achieving something in the caricature.
Yeah.
At least you're not failing at something.
They also had a suggestion, a fortune teller, which at first I was like, that's dumb. But then I was like, oh, I guess people want to know what the New Year's has in store for them.
It just seems to me that any I bet it's expensive to hire staff on New Year's Eve, for serving and catering and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I bet something silly like that other stuff is even more expensive.
Oh yeah, because somebody that does caricatures or fortune telling, they probably don't normally work after 5.
Right.
So if you're pulling them, you're having them come out. I mean, you could have them come into your party earlier in the evening, I guess.
Is a caricature go to a 9 to 5 in your mind?
Yeah. But I'm just saying the guy doing the caricatures, he doesn't have to be there. Yeah. He doesn't have to be there at midnight. You could have him there, between 8 and 10. That's fine.
How hard would it be to learn the art of caricature?
I don't. It's probably more practice than anything. The time you have to put in.
Yeah, I'll just I'll put in the time.
And you've also got to learn some basic self-defense, Tim, because sometimes people aren't going to be happy with the caricatures you draw.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You got to be able to block.
That's handled, Tom. That's been years and years of training on my part. I think I can handle myself with an irate muscle man.
I think that you've drawn as a wimp.
Yeah.
Also,
keep in mind, they're coming at you with a broken spirit, right?
That's true. They've been humiliated in front of an entire party full of people.
Yeah, so you have that advantage. You have the mental advantage going in.
I also think it would be worth paying a caricaturist to be there late so they could make a bunch of speed drawings of how everybody kisses.
Ooh, yeah. See, this is why I don't like kissing that part. I'm always afraid somebody's going to draw a caricature of me kissing my wife at a party.
And tap you on the shoulder on your way out and go, "This is you kissing."
Yeah.
And it's a picture of you with buck teeth and
pimples, poop in your pants.
Cross eyes. You've got like a big Adam's apple, like a real gross one. Yeah. I don't know.
When's the last time you got a caricature of yourself?
Nose. I've never had a caricature. I don't need that in my life.
I know, but not even like I feel like I got one on vacation when I was like 7 or 8 years old.
No, I don't think I've ever had one.
What do you like? And I was just like, I don't know, baseball. So they like just drew me as a baseball player. It wasn't insulting. It actually, I think, Tom, I think I was making contact with the ball. Looked like that ball might have had a chance of leaving the park.
It was a real dinger.
Yeah.
I think actually now I think about it, I don't think it was like a caricature, but it was like a charcoal portrait done when I was a kid.
Like a police sketch done
Not
by
a police sketch.
Somebody described your appearance.
No, it was in profile. It would have been an awful police sketch. But no, I mean, even recently when I was in Mexico City, we were walking through the park one day and there were like 1 million people doing caricatures and they were extremely cheap. And it was just like, whatever somebody draws of me, unless they, hand me like a drawing of like the handsomest man ever, it's just going to be seared in my mind, like what they drew for the rest of my life. And that's how I'm going to see myself forever.
But don't maybe you want to have that so you can know what to improve about yourself?
No,
maybe
I don't
it's like,
this
is what people have been too afraid to tell me all this time.
That's not
finally this man in Mexico City or woman is not afraid to tell me the truth. Finally, someone has the courage to speak up.
I don't need a caricature artist to tell me I have a big head.
Yeah, I told you have a big head. You should work on
shrinking my head,
shrinking your head a little bit.
It's not
just a tiny bit, not all the way.
Like they're not gonna show me anything that I can improve.
You can make your body bigger.
That's just gonna cause other problems.
Just try it. Tim,
have you
muscle men in 2023? You and me.
Tim,
it'll make your head look smaller.
Every year you claim this is the year you're not the year you're gonna get in shape. You're gonna improve your health. Every year you claim is the year you're gonna become a straight up muscle man.
Yeah, this is the year.
All right,
I'm ready for it. Well, if I'm gonna need to if I'm gonna do this caricature gig next New Year's Eve.
Right. Oh man. You know, it would stink. Imagine like the two of us, we spend all this time becoming muscle men. And then this time next year, we're like fucking ripped. We haven't bought new clothes. We're like busting out of our
very cool.
Our clothes
I
all
don't intend to get new clothes.
Yeah, what's the point if people aren't going to be like, wow, I remember you
show off my physique. Yeah.
I remember you in this shirt before and it was loose on you, but now your biceps are pushing right through it.
Yeah, it's like when the Incredible Hulk, they'd be like, "Did you just turn from geek to freak?"
Did somebody in the kitchen just make you very angry? and you're starting to transform. But we imagine this. So we spend the whole year, we become like hulking muscle men. We're both like, we're loaded up with steroids. We're spending so much money on steroids.
That's part of it. Yeah, that's definitely, as I see it.
We take our last money that we haven't spent on steroids, and we hire a caricature artist. And they come and we're like, all right, draw us some caricatures. And they draw us with little bodies still.
Oh, God. Tom.
How infuriating would that be?
That fuel our body dysmorphia.
Right. But and then we die. I'll break your neck, you little pipsqueak. And we just rip that guy to shreds.
Yeah. We'd murder that guy. And all would be fine.
I would grab his legs, you would grab his arms, and we'd just pull him apart right in front of the whole party.
And then you'd be like, all right, Tim, let's get on a plane to Mexico City. There's a whole park full of guys that we got to take care of.
They're just waiting for this to be done to them. Tim, have you ever been to a masquerade ball or a masquerade party?
I'm not a pervert. How many have you been to, you creep?
I haven't been to any, but again, I was reading one of these websites, and it said, it's talking about this being one of the ideas that you could have a masquerade party, and then if you're feeling adventurous, have the traditional New Year's Eve kiss at midnight, and then ask guests to remove their masks.
Where did you read this? What?
I think it was Reader's Digest or Parade Magazine.
Wow. So people are supposed to kiss people sight unseen?
Yeah.
What is this, a thing where, like, you're having a party and nobody knows each other?
Or they are unaware of each other to the point where just like a simple mask covering somebody's eyes will confuse them.
Yeah. I feel like this is just like a cover for a swingers party.
Right. And I think that's what like Reader's Digest is getting into nowadays.
Yeah. Suggesting bowls big enough to hold all the keys of everybody in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, and it says, you may also want to have a few extra masks on hands for forgetful friends.
Right.
For your forgetful friend who's like, no, I don't want anybody kissing my wife.
Right.
And you say, rules is rules.
What are you going to sit at home alone on New Year's Eve? Get in here. Let somebody kiss your wife.
Put that mask on her. Oh, I don't know who this woman is. I hope she isn't near me at midnight.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another suggestion. There was also,
I don't think anybody except perverts and creeps have done that, right?
What? Kiss another man's wife?
No, the masquerade party, right? Like, it's just like masquerade things are only for like Eyes Wide Shut style orgies and swinger parties, right?
I think it depends, because I think if you want to have like an Eyes Wide Shut style party, you've got to have like a masquerade mask that like pretty much covers your entire face.
Right.
If you go into a party and people have got those on, there's going to be an orgy at some point.
Right. This is our episode that's released on Christmas Day, Tom.
Well, I mean, people have Christmas Day orgies, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And some people might be listening to this in the morning while they're opening up Christmas presents, and they're going to a Christmas party later that night.
Yeah, you got to know. Yeah, you got to know what type of what to expect depending on the type of mask you see.
Now, if people have the masks that like just kind of cover the eyes, you're not 100% okay, but it's not necessarily a turn around and leave situation like the full face masks are.
Turn around and leave. Interesting, Tom. Interesting perspective.
What? Turn around and leave from an orgy?
You're not going to stay, check it out, see what's going on?
No, I'm not going to stay and check out the orgy and see what's going on. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go watch through the window so, nobody can judge me. And I can just stare all I want.
If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. Tom, do the rest.
You can find all the links to our social media there, our Discord, our subreddit. Both of them are Barrel Laughs. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide. Like I mentioned earlier, this week, we went to Bubblegum Shrimp Company in Times Square. That was one of the ideas that they had in here, was to have like a
Go to Bubblegum Shrimp Company?
No, it was to have a Times Square themed New Year's Eve party where you do Broadway karaoke and have pizza and hot dogs and pretzels.
Huh. Okay.
And then at midnight you play the knockout game. Yeah, what I say? Oh, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim.
You can follow me on Mastodon. I don't know how, but you can.
Everybody's address on Mastodon seems too complicated.
They're longer than email addresses.
Yeah. I think we all should just smash all the computers and phones.
I think I mentioned everything. Patreon,
yeah. Do the Patreon. It's fun. It's been a month of Gump. It's been lovely.
It has been a lovely month of Gump. Month and a half of Gump. Tim, I also looked up some crazy customs in other countries. And I'm sure when I say some of them, people are going to be like, I live in this country. I've never heard of this before. But this one I read in a couple of places. It sounds like a good one. In Denmark, people take pride in the number of broken dishes outside of their door by the end of New Year's Eve. It's Danish tradition to throw china at your friends and neighbors' front doors on New Year's Eve. Some say it's a means of leaving any aggression and ill will toward them before the new year begins. And it is said that the bigger your pile of broken dishes, the more luck you will have in the upcoming year.
But it's people taking out, like, burying the hatchet. Like, it's just like these people all had all this potential aggression against you.
I think it's kind of like nebulous, where like you can do that thinking, like, yeah, I hate this person, I'm going to throw a dish at their door.
Right.
But if they're like, hey, what the hell? You can be like, no, I want you to have good luck. It's good luck. So it's kind of like you can interpret it whichever way you want.
Right. This sounds dumb. I don't have the dishes to go around doing this.
You're supposed to use like, if you like break a dish or chip something, you're supposed to hang on to it throughout the year.
Tom, how many dishes do you break or chip to the point that they're unusable that you would throw at somebody's door?
Not very many, I guess. And like when it does happen, it's like, oh, this is like I dropped this and it shattered completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, they've got maybe dishes are made differently in Denmark.
Probably are, Tom. Weirdly.
Yeah. This one in Scotland, according to Scottish beliefs, I should go there, Tim. Well, you could come too, and we could make ourselves a pretty penny. According to Scottish beliefs, the first person who crosses through the threshold of your house after midnight on New Year's Day should be a dark-haired male if you wish to have good luck in the coming year.
Okay.
And
why is that, though?
It apparently goes back to when, sometimes like the person coming into your home would be like a Viking to like, murder you.
Right.
So it's like, oh, thank God. It's, just a guy with dark hair.
Yeah, he's not going to murder me. Or he might, but like it's not as much of a given. Might be the Zodiac Killer. Nobody knows what he looks like.
They don't have the Zodiac Killer over in Scotland.
They might. We don't know. We don't know what powers he has.
But that would be a good way for us to make some extra scratch, Tim.
Yeah, offer to walk in people's doors on New Year's Day. We'd have to we'd have to start going around pretty early, though.
Yeah. No. Well, it's early at midnight. It has to be the first of the year.
Right.
We'll get into cahoots with some caricaturist that's, there earlier in the night.
Oh, yeah.
He'll leave the door unlocked. We'll come in.
One thing I want to say, Tom,
Mm-hmm.
and this is Tim's takeaway.
Uh-huh.
Don't try to go to 2 parties or more on New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that. It's like, oh, we're here, but not for the New Year's part. Or
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, well, get out of here. Like we want people who are in it to win it, who are committed to
Right.
this. And then the people that show up at like 1:30 at a party, it's like, we were somewhere else that was more important than this. Just shut up.
Right, but now we're here
Yeah,
when
go
you want to
back.
go to bed.
Yeah, enough of that.
All right, you heard it. You heard it here first, folks. Don't go to 2 parties.
Yeah, especially
Tim
if one of
doesn't
them is
like it.
mine. Yeah, I don't like it. So knock it off.
All right, we'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.